Man, look what we're playing today.
Nice. Posthuman.
Posthuman. This is by Mighty Box Games, and it's going to probably be the best game I've ever played.
Probably. I can't wait to play this.
I can't wait to play this. I'm so excited. You know what I like to do when I play games like this, Brad? I like to pretend. I like to make stories up and pretend.
Oh, I hope there's a lot of dice rolling.
God, dice rolling is my favorite.
Posthuman.
Posthuman, guys. Yes. All right.
So Posthuman. Was I starting or you starting?
Oh,
this cast.
It didn't matter, I guess. I was gonna start, but so here we are looking at our characters.
Right.
That's my character, the cage fighter.
Yeah.
Oh, we already went through.
Oh, we already went through. I had a cop.
Yeah, Brad had a cop. So, Posthuman, you are in the future, post-apocalyptic. Cool that it's not a zombie one. A different kind of theme.
Well, there's still zombie abomination things.
Yeah, that's true. And what the fuck is going on there, Brad? This is the kind of stuff that Brad does off camera. So when I went to the bathroom, that's what happens.
Nah.
So that while I'm editing, I get to see that.
No.
It was a mysterious invader that did that. So you are going to explore in Posthuman. Here I'm actually on the left, so on this screen I'm on the left.
Oh, but last video you said you will always be on the right.
Yeah, this is upside down, so there I'm on the right. But in Posthuman, you're basically trying to make it to the end of that map where that big yellow circle is, and that's your shelter. So along the way, you're going to encounter stuff, and you've got a chance to turn into a mutant, and the mutant actually tries to prevent the other players from getting there. So if you turn into a mutant, you get different actions and everything, and your goal is to stop the players now.
Right. And combat, here's where we're showing combat. And it's really basic. It's hits versus defense. So if I rolled a shield and you rolled whatever the hit was.
Yeah, there's different hits. Yeah,
but
there's crits.
They just negate each other, and whoever has more hits deals damage
to the other. Yep.
Yeah, and if you tie, you both deal damage, right?
Yeah, you deal damage to each other same time. So
right.
And this was where the game kind of annoyed me. Like, I like the fact that you're on different tiles here. Like, you're exploring your own path. That's cool. Like, here you can see me exploring the mountains.
Yeah.
But, goddamn, 90% of this game is combat. 95?
Yeah, it's all combat. Even the exploring didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, boring.
Yeah.
You couldn't find anything. I don't know. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah, it felt a little weak in a lot of areas, like not a great design because it didn't play great.
No. To me, it felt like Monopoly, but with not Monopoly, but one of those Milton Bradley games with a edgy theme.
Brad, why don't you like Monopoly? No, I agree. It's so basic. The combat, I'm tired of the combat where you roll dice against each other and then pick out successes. I'm so sick of that.
Yeah, it should have had just 6-sided and whoever rolled higher.
I would have actually. You know what? That sounds stupid.
Oh, but that's horrible too.
Well, is it? I would rather have that than that because that takes a half hour.
Right.
And
at least that would be quicker.
Right. We're not advocating that because that is stupid. But the combat is terribly boring. It's so simplistic. I would have liked cards where you could rock, paper, scissors it. Like I take cover, you shoot. Okay, my cover beats your shooting.
Yeah.
Your shooting beats my melee.
God, I thought you literally meant rock, paper, scissors.
God, over that? No, it's not the worst thing ever, but the combat's confusing. How you have to total the hits and
it's confusing yet boring.
And boring, right? So the exploration, you're literally just drawing a tile from the top there, and connecting it to the other tiles you have. The actions you can take, you can camp to get hit points back.
Mm-hmm.
You can scout, which is a cool idea. You can look at
2 different tiles.
It's however many connect.
Yeah.
So if you have like 4 exits on your tile, you could do 4.
So camp, scout,
move obviously
right,
to move to a different zone.
And there's another one. Explore. No, explore.
No, there's
God. Camp, scout.
That's how amazing this game was.
Move.
I forgot how to play it.
And something like a search type thing, wasn't it?
Oh, you could forage.
Forage.
Sorry, Yeah, you could. So if you complete a whole tile, each of those little circles on it is a zone. If you complete the whole tile, you can forage it. So you get some stuff.
Yeah, but most of the time it's just fighting and fighting.
Yeah.
And the enemies are all the same.
Yeah.
They don't drop any loot. I mean, there's a few.
There's a few.
Very few that drop something.
Or...
they're all we've seen. They're all one experience.
Yeah, I think every one of them's one experience.
It was just
there's maybe
monotonous.
Monotonous. I think there was two enemies that dropped items out of the item. We fought 100 battles. I swear to God.
Yeah, out of like
it was ridiculous.
30 battles.
It felt like so my biggest disappointment, and I actually thought the game was above average. Slightly. I like the theme. It reminded me of The Last of Us. I've said that to Brad before, but it just had that kind of feel to it where nature's kind of taken over. But I was disappointed that the encounters didn't have story. Like, we encountered 2 out of 30 cards were story.
Yeah, there was no story.
Right.
There's no story in the game. It's if we wouldn't have read about it, we wouldn't have known it was. I would just think it's a normal post-apocalyptic game.
Yeah.
And there was no story to it. It's just so vanilla. Just your basic. It's like I don't know. It's your basic.
Yeah.
Sorry or Game of Life, but with.
Yeah.
Oh, let's put a post-apocalyptic theme.
Because that's cool. Post-apocalypse is cool.
Yeah.
But it's cool when the game is cool. Like, if you're playing a board game, I want the board game to be good.
Yeah, I don't care about. I mean, I care about the theme. But,
well, yeah, we're big on theme, but
if the game's crap.
Right. This felt like when I was younger and in school, we had a contest to design a board game for they were gonna put it in school. This felt like what I did when I was...
Yeah, because you're following a path. All right, you go from here, you start here.
Yeah.
And you got to move all the way to here.
Right.
And you got to fight monsters.
Yeah, occasionally you fight monsters, and you roll, and you take a damage.
Yeah.
And you do a damage. It's so basic and so boring that way. I thought it was above average in the way that... I like... God, I don't know how it's above average, actually. I like the theme, I guess, but...
That makes it above average for you?
No. The one thing I did really enjoy was the weather, the events. Because if you're traveling, a big thing, and I imagine, is, the weather. In armies and stuff, the weather's huge. Cool. Yeah, it's winter, and winter stays out until you get summer, or whatever. That's neat.
But they still didn't really do nothing in the game.
Yeah, unfortunately,
I mean, maybe in a larger game, because there were a lot of cards that we just cycled through that were okay, this doesn't do anything. Okay, this doesn't do anything.
Right.
So.
Right, even the winter stuff where I'm oh, that's neat. It just stays winter. It doesn't do a lot to affect the game, pretty much the game is just looking for food constantly.
Oh God, food.
Which
You can't even get food.
Right.
Where do you get food from in this game?
Brad started with the cops, who started with 1 food, and yeah, I started with the character with 4, and you were forever behind on food.
And you shouldn't have to. You should be able to pick whoever you want, and still. I shouldn't have to go based on a character that has the most food in order to play the game.
Right. Well, yeah, that's
silly.
If that really was the case, that is pretty sad.
Yeah, nobody could get food really at all.
What I didn't like is when you were on a tile. So if you started a tile with 3 zones in it, like the first zone, you have to keep going. You can't back out. So like if you don't have enough food to get through all 3, immediately you're like, well,
you're dead.
2 turns in, I'm dead.
Yeah.
But I have to keep going.
Yeah, you have to finish the tiles in order to forage that tile.
Right.
Yeah, and if you have a tile with 3, what do you want to call it on them? Zones on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah. There was like two different times in the game where you were just like, yeah, I'm going to die next turn anyway, but...
Yeah, I just went for it.
Yeah, just go, keep going.
I was so close to getting to the safe zone, I was just like, well,
right.
I know I'm screwed on food, so...
That's the good thing, though, if you die, like, you don't lose your progress on the overall map, the world map there.
Right.
That's kind of cool. I do like that.
And then if you get hit, a lot of times you get those cards, the scar cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some are mutations and some aren't.
Some aren't, yeah.
And if you get 5 mutations in a 2-player game, you have to become a mutant.
Right.
And how was the mutant, Brad? Because Brad gets really far. He's the red guy up here.
Yeah, then
not to spoil it, but he turns into a mutant.
Doesn't matter. But yeah, then at the end, one away, I turn into a mutant.
Yeah, you were literally...
Because I ran out of food.
For like the 3rd time.
And the mutant is boring.
Why? It sounds amazing.
No, it's...
You get mutations.
Boring as crap.
Brad had arm spikes and horns.
I had like 3 different types of arms. It was ridiculous.
You did have 3 different arms.
I had like arm clubs and arm spikes, and I'm like, what's going on?
Well, I mean, you didn't get to do a lot as a mutant because the next turn I basically got turned into a mutant too.
It just seemed, I don't know.
Yeah.
It seemed like I was gonna, if I don't kill you, then I lose. Which, I don't know, I didn't like that part of I can see where they thought it was going to be fun.
Right.
But it just seems stupid to me.
It needed to be co-op and not, hey, here's 2 guys going on a journey. Because, okay, so say you get there first, which you were close right here. Who cares? Like, I just fall over and die because you got to the shelter first?
That's why I said, it's like Sorry or something.
Yeah, right.
You're going around the board.
I see your point there, yeah.
And you're just rolling die, and...
Whoever gets there first wins.
Right. Oh, I'm rolling 6s. Oh, you're rolling 1s.
Right.
I'm going to win.
Right. Here, sometimes you'll fight, like, followers. So here I got 2 different guys to fight. They bring in friends. The little guys that are mutants will actually scar you if they hit you or whatever. So that's your chance to turn into a mutant as you play.
You got range right there. I was rolling ranged. I think those enemies had ranged, so range goes first, obviously, and then here we're rolling for melee.
Yeah, and the melee is... Everybody rolls 3 dice unless your skill's better, then you roll 4.
And that's another thing, too. Like, there was so much combat, and then we were blowing through enemies right away in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then we went up levels, and we got even more powerful. And then there was a point where we were rolling like 5 dice apiece.
Yeah.
And just totally, like, the enemies were a joke. Like, we were going up against level 3 enemies, and they were nothing.
Yeah, Brad had like... you had some kind of weapon and a spear, and you got to roll or they lost a die.
They lost
first,
a die the first turn or whatever, and it was just
you were slaughtering people.
It was really hard to lose combat.
Right. Yeah, it's God. If you like rolling dice for combat, you're gonna love this game. I was very disappointed in the story aspect of it. Like if those encounter cards had a ton of story elements where I could do different things, that would be cool. I could probably live with the terrible combat.
Yeah, this is just rewatching this is putting me to sleep right now.
Brad's yawning as we record this.
It's so horrible.
This is Brad turning into a mutant.
Oh yeah, this is where I turn into the
There's your little abilities.
whatever.
Yeah. A party pooper. You ruined all my fun. So technically, I guess you won somehow because we both turned into a mutant, but you did it first. Does that mean you won? Or do you care that you won?
No. Did you turn into a mutant?
I did, but
I don't remember this game at all.
That was essentially me losing. Like here, I'm right behind you, and I think I got hit in the fight and turned into a mutant, and that's game because we're both mutants now.
Right.
So technically, I guess you won, if anybody cares.
No.
It was like a goddamn 3.5 hour game or something.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. 3.5 hours of rolling dice.
Yeah. Hey, if you're gonna play this, sorry.
If I'm gonna roll dice for 3.5 hours, I'm gonna play D&D or something.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, with story and cool characters and that. But if you're gonna play this, do yourself a favor. They have options for a short game. Do that because you're gonna start at the end of the one track, and
that'd still be too long for me. Still too much dice rolling.
Yeah, it's just mindless dice rolling, like the kind of thing I would make when I was young. Like just hey guys, you're gonna roll dice. This is your combat stat. Unfortunately, like there's not a lot of interesting things to talk about. It's you're gonna travel on the little zones. You're gonna basically fight all the time. I think that was a trap. You're gonna roll an ability now and then. But
what do you give this game
on a scale of 1 to 10? Oh man, do I even give it a 6? Because I feel like I gave a 6 to games that were better than this. I give it a 5 of complete average. It might be a 4, but
I give it a 4.
Do you?
Yeah,
slightly below average.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's close.
It's close to AIDS.
Close to AIDS. Just above gonorrhea.
That's fair. That's fair. They should put that in the box. Just above gonorrhea. Posthuman. Go out and get it.
Bye.
Take care, guys.